families of the Bear, honored guests, and my members way back there, good morning. It's a real honor to be asked to speak at this event this morning. My own entrepreneurial journey started at a much more advanced age than most of the young people in this room. It is said that entrepreneurism is not for the faint of heart. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. And I think that the transition for me from a Canadian corporate executive to an entrepreneur was, to say the least, a little bit messy. Those of you in this room that have been the recipients of the services of Zubair SEC are very, very fortunate. The direct support program really helps entrepreneurs minimize that sort of messy factor that comes inherently with being an entrepreneur. My own history, I started my business, my first business 10 years ago, and that venture took me through some missed opportunities for funding, I would say some colossal marketing failures in spite of my background, and sadly, quite a heartbreaking breakup at the end of it. But that is the transition of entrepreneurship. What I didn't know then that I know now is that the power, the impact that mentors have on young SMEs. And if I could have my time back, I would wish that I had a mentor to guide me. The benefit to entrepreneurs of mentors is that we can reach into our toolkit of business expertise and guide them through some of those rough waters, helping them not to have to make the mistakes that are so easy actually to be made. What I hear as a mentor from the entrepreneurs that are participating in the Zubair SEC program over and over is just how impactful the program is at clearing the fog for them and getting them really engaged and really excited about those next big steps. And that is a powerful, powerful platform for entrepreneurs. But going beyond that, the Zubair SEC Direct Support Program, from my experience, really, unlike any other program in Oman, has taken the approach that we leave nobody behind. So, as you can imagine, with all the candidates that will apply for these 8 coveted positions, only a small percentage are going to win those roles. But Zubair doesn't stop there. They make their workshops, their programs, and access to the knowledge of staff at the Zubair SEC available to everyone. That is a differentiator between this program and all the other programs that I've interacted with in Oman. When Lena requested that I speak at this event, she suggested that I reflect on what made me want to become a mentor for Zubair SEC. And I have to say, for me, entrepreneuring, as I like to call it, is as integral to my life as breathing. So to mentor other entrepreneurs is really just an extension of that life choice. Mentoring allows us to, interact with entrepreneurs, and for me, it really allows me to live the entrepreneurial dream over and over again without actually having to do the really hard work. Here in Oman, as you can tell, I'm a Canadian girl. I'm flying my colors today. Mentoring Omani entrepreneurs allows me to see entrepreneurism through the eyes of Oman's culture. That has been inspiring for me, to say the least. As you probably know, Oman's entrepreneurial initiative is just part of a bigger world initiative towards entrepreneurism. And fundamentally, at a most basic level, the Oman entrepreneurial ecosystem is exactly the same as the entrepreneurial ecosystems in Canada or in Europe or in Lebanon. There are, within the ecosystem, there are leaders and there are feeders. And perhaps this might come as a surprise to you, but we are not the leaders. The leaders are the entrepreneurs. And our job as mentors and feeders, the rest of us in this room, our job is to support those entrepreneurs and get out of their way. And let them be the channels of change and economic impact. You probably have heard of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs I'm a bit of a fan of the late Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs had a quote that really touched me. He said, if you are doing something that you really care about, something that you're very excited about, you will not have to be pushed to do that work. The vision will pull you. And I have to say, from my perspective and from what I am seeing here in Oman, that Omani entrepreneurs possess that same passion, and they are pulled into entrepreneurism. It's not something that anybody has sort of directed them to do. Within the grand world ecosystem of entrepreneurship, Oman is really, in some ways, very different, and in some ways, exactly the same as other, ecosystems that I've worked in. Oman, of course, has less entrepreneurs than I have worked amongst in the Canadian entrepreneurial ecosystem. That is part and parcel, I believe, obviously because it's a smaller population, but it's also because, from what I understand of the system right now, there are not programs of ideation and creativity yet that have been integrated into the elementary and secondary school levels. And this is something that I hope that Oman will adopt moving forward. Culturally, I think there are still some challenges in Oman. I'm hearing from some of the entrepreneurs that perhaps parents don't completely embrace entrepreneurism yet as a career choice, and I think that will also change in time, particularly with programs like this one. I think there are some wrinkles as well to be worked out in the system, just in terms of the ease with which entrepreneurs can start businesses, capitalize them, manage them, and be successful. And lastly, I think there is a little bit of accountability yet to be fully understood from the entire spectrum of business. Because after all, you cannot have an entrepreneur that lives in a bubble. They are part of the full continuum of business. And so it's going to be really important for Oman and all the businesses in Oman to understand how they engage with entrepreneurism so that we can truly make all of our entrepreneurs very, very successful. Obviously, I am pretty jazzed about being a mentor for Zubair SEC. I encountered Lena and Hani at an event and had no intention of taking on any more work. But here I sit. I am very thrilled to be here. I would like to thank you all for inviting me into your world. It's been a great pleasure, and will continue, of course, to do my bit. Shukran.